Welcome back to the Jesse Rucinski show. I told you it was going to be a good one. There's a little extra stuff I have to throw in, on top of what I was going to talk about, but some interesting stuff. And I mean, the FBI really went out of their way to answer the question while ignoring and not answering a question. If you don't understand what I mean, we'll get to that here soon enough. But first, we got to start out with the Supreme Court coming down with the rulings on the vaccine mandates that were coming from the Biden White House and their administration. Everyone's been wondering what they were going to do about it forever now. They said they weren't going to have any mandates. I said they were full of something. Here we are. And they're doing it. Now he's pushing, companies to do it themselves. It's just crazy. But we'll start out with the medical workers one. Because, I did feel that was the best one, best shot, I guess, for them to get either of them to pass and to get it through just because it involved federal funding. So, then they get to stick their nose in there. Technically, it's like they can mandate federal workers because they're not private sector. So I figured this is going to be the one that they got. But the court ruled that Health and Human Services Secretary, or HHS, the secretary had the authority to require that all healthcare workers at facilities that receive funding from Medicare and Medicaid to be vaccinated unless religiously or medically exempt. And again, federal money goes there, same as federal employees. They do have more pull in that, regardless of if you like it or not. I don't like it. I think forcing anything, like doing this down anyone's throat and ruining, like, especially when we need healthcare workers now, it's kind of important that we have them. I don't like it, but technically they still can do it. The court noted that these facilities have always been obligated to satisfy a host of conditions that address the safe and effective provisions of healthcare, not simply sound accounting. And again, this is the one that I still don't like it, constitutionally and all that. Pardon my chair, but because they get federal money and all that, then technically that helps them get their foot in the door just because of that. I don't like the attitude of get vaccinated or screw off, is the way to go, especially when we need healthcare workers to be working during, never ending, pandemic. Is it's still, as long as these guys are in charge, it's not going anywhere. Let's just be honest here. So, I don't like that attitude, but it's the way they're doing with a lot of things. And there's nothing you could really, again, the court ruled on that. That was the part of it that was going to make it tricky. And they got it because of federal money. So that does that. Again, the one we saw coming, I don't like it. I don't think people should have to have something, either get vaccinated or F off. Like, that doesn't help anyone. It's divisive and it just pisses people off more, makes them not want to get it more. So, it is what it is. And then the ruling that we got on OSHA that went into the mandate went into effect this past Monday. Now this ruling came out. The mandate that had companies had 100 or more employees mandate either, vaccines or weekly testing and masks, something so that people are going to have to pay for the test themselves. All I know is my mother came down with COVID. And I gave it to my father. But then in order to get the test to go back to work, she had to pay for that. But the first one was free. And everyone's different. Everywhere is different. What state you're on, you're in, how they're running this thing. But it's another sort of making them pay for it, which kind of, takes money out of their pocket and it's got to force them to get vaccinated or move on. But the court ruled that they lack the authority to impose such a mandate because the law that created OSHA empowers the secretary to impose workplace safety standards, not broad public health measures. And although COVID-19 is a risk that occurs in many workplaces, it is not an occupational risk in most. Also, COVID-19 can and does spread at home, in schools, during sporting events, and everywhere else that people gather. That kind of universal risk is no different from the day-to-day dangers that all face from crime, air pollution, or any number of communicable diseases. By the way, it's coming from the Supreme Court, so eat that one, YouTube, Facebook, all of you. And for those reasons, the OSHA mandate would significantly expand their authority beyond the limits Congress set. And this is the one that I didn't think had a snowflake's chance, just because there's no federal money, there was no anything. So they didn't have any authority anywhere to try to do it to this. And they tried to use OSHA to backdoor it in there, even though OSHA doesn't have the authority to do it. And that's what I've been saying this whole, I mean, a lot of us have been saying it the whole entire time and getting, our heads torn off for it, but OSHA doesn't have the authority to do it. They don't have the authority to make OSHA do it, to try to do an end around. It doesn't work that way. Sorry. If you don't like it, I probably don't like you. I don't know. But that was the one that looked like it was going to be, not going through. So there's a small, victory lap just for, freedom, rights, and the Constitution and all that. And I'm not trying to end around, even though he's still yelling at companies that they should, do it on their own. I'm pretty sure people that, are really desperate for workers right now, no matter what they say about their job numbers in the country, like everywhere is hiring. Literally everywhere I go is hiring. Where I drive around is hiring. So yeah, I don't think they're going to do that. So well, you lost, you couldn't do it. Deal with it. Sorry, but that's all you can do. But that was a good, thing. Figured I couldn't go without saying that. Not that came out the rulings yesterday, but now on to what this whole thing is, about. And it has to do with January 6th. And there's, all kinds of commissions and committees and idiocy going on regarding it. There's the big January 6th, one that has like Adam Schiff on it and Never Trumpers, like Liz Cheney, who literally was against the guy the whole entire time. And like, there's only 2 Republicans on there. But we did get, Ted Cruz did get to ask some questions to Jill Stanborn, who is the FBI's executive assistant director for the National Security Branch. I mean, executive assistant director, that's kind of a big title, which means you're kind of up there and in the National Security Branch, which means this should be right up their alley. It was such a bad thing. And I'm not joking about, like, it was stupid, but like the way they're blowing this up compared to other things happening and like all the intelligence stuff they're missing. And this is what they're wasting time on. Wish I could say it was laughable, but Ted Cruz got into her and got some questions. We're going to go over some of them, and then you'll understand the title of this with an answer without. Question: how many FBI agents, confidential informants, actively participated in the events on January 6th? Answer: sir, I'm sure that you can appreciate that I can't go into the specifics of sources and methods. Which is a yes, by the way. Like, not going to say how many, but when their answer is I can't go into the specifics of sources and methods, that's not no. That's a very big yes. Anyway, I asked again, did any FBI agents or confidential informants actively participate in the events of January 6th? Yes or no? Answer: sir, I can't answer that. Did any FBI agents or confidential informants actively encourage and incite crimes of violence on January 6th? Answer: sir, I can't answer that. Like, repeatedly, though, I heard her say, those are just some of it, but I'm sure you can appreciate that I can't go into the specifics of sources and methods. Sorry, that's saying yes. That's admitting to it all, and that is your answer. I can't, because if it was no, they'd have them up there saying no. If they said no, and then it was true, that'd be perjury. Not like anyone cares about that anymore, because people do it all the time and get away with it. That's just the way things are. But, can't get into the specifics of sources and methods. So, yeah, the FBI, they call everyone crazy conspiracy theorists the whole, like, all this time. And I said, I'm sure there's all kinds of idiocy that was involved in all of that. It wasn't just, and we saw reporters inciting people, like all kinds of people there. We saw police officers just moving guardrails and letting people through. Like, there's all kinds of just stuff that the whole world has seen. At least most of the people. I don't know how the hell you haven't seen it. At least if you're listening to this, watching this, whatever the hell you're doing, you've seen it. You heard it. You know what I'm talking about. And like when the FBI's answers, they can't get into specifics and sources, and sources and methods, that means yes, which is disgusting. But, again, anyone that knows anything, if they can't say no, they're using stuff like that. That means, yeah, there was people in there. It was, lots of stuff. And then on to Ray Epps. Here's one from, again, this is Ted Cruz. On the night of January 5th, 2021, Epps wandered around the crowd that were gathered there. And there's video of him out there chatting. Tomorrow we need to get into the Capitol. This is strange behavior. So strange that the crowd started chanting Fed. They said it 6 times before he stopped. Yeah. Ms. Sanborn, was Ray Epps a Fed? Answer, sir, I cannot answer that question. Well, after this amount of time, and we all know who his name's been all over, you should know, which is an answer without answering. My question to you, and this is not an ordinary law enforcement question. This is a question about public accountability. Did federal agents or those in service of federal agents actively encourage violent and criminal conduct on January 6th? Answer, not to my knowledge, sir. Which again, really, I mean, if it was a definitive no, they would say no, as it's the FBI. They skirted around every single question that they could, which again gets us directly where we are and why no one has any faith in most of anything, especially the guy that I hear through that door, apparently giving some kind of speech, attempting to read a teleprompter. She's not very good at. Right in there. Sadly, I just moved the PlayStation controller, but the last 4 times he's tried to, and I've been in here. Conveniently, the PlayStation went into power save mode and turned them off, but not today. But when your answers are, sir, I cannot answer that question, not to my knowledge. Yeah. What was it? I'm sure that you can appreciate that I can't go into the specifics and sources and methods. Yeah, those are all admitting it without answering the question. So it's an answer without answering, which gives it all away. And you don't actually even have to be a conspiracy theorist. You don't have to read between the lines. You just have to have functioning, frontal cortexes and all kinds of stuff in there, and a little bit of common sense. There we go. To understand what the hell this means. And sadly, I mean, this just goes along with a lot of stuff. And when it gets to the Epps thing, like there's video of him all over the place. He was taken off the list, even though he's all this video and all that during the summer without any explanation. And he hasn't been charged with anything, even though he's on video all over the place. Suddenly just poof, gone like that. And the committee can say whatever they want about him. We talked to him. We know all this. And how the hell does the FBI say they don't know where he is or anything? And the committee is like, no, we talked to him. Like, you can't even get your stuff straight. I'm sorry. Like, one person, when they're working together, one person shouldn't say this when another person says this. Like, sorry, the committee can find you, then the FBI sure as hell can find you and get a hold of you and do all that. And as they're going after people, and they got credit card companies to, give information on people that are just in the DC area around the 5th and 6th. And they can look into them. And all these people are still in jail now with just as much trespassing charges. Like, there should be an explanation as to why he just vanished out of thin air, and it's scummy. And all of this comes back to, again, it's a sham. It always has been a sham since they put it together. Look at the people around, all the people that tried to impeach him. People are putting it together that denied requests for troops. Like, there's so much that got it, and then they got him for inciting it and impeached him a second time for it. Like, these are the people running this thing, and Liz Cheney's ever voted to do it. Like, they found the never Trumpers, they put them on this, and they're not going to find anything. And if you want to tell me I'm crazy for saying it, like my neighbor's dog that I hear right now losing its mind, like, here's some questions for all the liberals, progressives, all the people. If there is anyone on the other side listening to this, because I'm sure they're pissed by now. If this is really to figure out what happened, then I get why they're going after Trump and Mark Meadows and all of his people getting text, emails, phone records. Like, if they're going to get all of that, to see what their actual response was and what was everything leading up to January 6th and everything they did and everything they did after. Like, again, he was in charge, whatever. Screw it, look it up. But if they're going to do that, how come Pelosi and Muriel Bowser, mayor of DC, Speaker of the House, Pelosi, yeah, why are they untouchable and not allowed to be looked at? Especially with Speaker of the House and their relationship with the Capitol Police and all that, like in security of the Capitol. Why can't we look into her and get all of her information to see anything she did and all of her correspondence leading up to and what she knew? If you're really trying to get to the bottom of it, she's the one in charge of the Capitol Police. So why aren't we looking at that? Why aren't we looking at Mayor Bowser? As I've read the letter last week about her saying she didn't want it, she didn't want any extra federal help in there. Well, why? Like, why aren't we looking into her and see what she knew beforehand? Or why she denied any of those things? Why aren't they going after and trying to like subpoena all the records and see it like the actual request for troops from the president? Like you said, man, it's amazing that they're not talking like any of that's not coming up. You said, hey, I did this. Why can't like boom, pull it out? It's not that hard to find. Shouldn't be. Like pull that out. And you're like, okay, he did. Like if we really like if they're looking for answers and the truth and to be bipartisan in this, why aren't they doing any of those things? So if they're trying to come to the truth, Pelosi would be under the, she'd be getting looked at and all of her correspondence. Muriel Bowser, all of hers. There'd be so many people in the FBI, all of them. There'd be so many more people getting looked at. Instead, they're throwing subpoenas and trying to throw Trump's people that are refusing in jail and all that. Because they're not trying to end it, but they're not going after anyone else and trying to look into anything to verify anything that anyone else has said. They're just going after Trump and his people and blaming it all on him. Again, even though there's documents that say that he requested troops, there's, all of his people have said it. I knew it was coming beforehand just because I know people up there that work in the building, the police force. And the night before, I knew that something dumb's going to happen. Like, okay, well, take care of yourselves. Like they knew. They planted pipe bombs the night before. So, I mean, apparently it wasn't, his speech or anything. And yet they're just going after Trump and his people in the lead up and the day of and all that after. And they're not looking at any other side of it. And that's not how you look for actual answers. You don't just go after one side. Like you go after the whole thing, which is, again, why no one has any faith in any of our anything anymore, except for people that really are just not cognitive critical thinkers, like the guy talking in there on the TV right now. Because that's what we should all be looking for. And it's sad that so many people fall into it and just take the one narrative instead of looking at it from both sides. All of us that I know, Trump people, non-Trump people, all like agree that was just disgusting. Like but that's like sadly where it all goes, and they all put on Trump and his words. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them. Like there's nothing else that was even involved there, and like people they just listen to the mainstream media, shovel it all down their throat, and keep going. And that's why we are where we are, and that's why there's like all-time lows for people and the amount of faith they have in Congress and the Senate and anyone to be telling the truth or doing anything. Because everyone sucks. Most people know, like a lot of people know that everyone sucks. Sadly, there's millions of people that just keep getting spoon-fed all this nonsense. And really, I mean, turn everyone around. Let's just be like, everyone needs to hold their representatives accountable. Like the constituents need to hold them accountable. They would know really like time to stop playing games, of doing this all one-sided and everything, and actually look into everybody to get to the bottom of everything and fix all of it. As it is a sandwich. We all know what kind of sandwich. It's garbage. It's not going to get any better because people are all just like, oh, look, Republicans are just ramming her and attacking her with all their crazy conspiracy theory stuff when she actually literally answered all those questions. not in a way that favors the FBI or anyone on the committee, but like she answered all of them without answering the question, which is why there's no faith in anything. Because again, if it was no, they just say no. Maybe I can't, like, I can't go into the specifics of sources and methods. How we got, any of like you, that's like the worst answer you can give me. Might as well just say yes. Don't know how many. You might as well have, because wording it, fancy didn't help anything. Doesn't help the thing. And it happens a lot. Like, I mean, regardless of who it is, I mean, I could just go off and now, I mean, look at Psaki. She doesn't answer anything. Biden, when he answers questions, he doesn't answer. Like, he's just, like, it doesn't make it, like, they just answer questions with they answer it without answering it. And much as people didn't like the orange guy with the hair, at least you knew that you were getting an answer from, whether you liked it or not. Man didn't really pull any punches. And like these people, like, I'm sorry, like, the Fed needs to be held accountable, the FBI, all these people, because everyone plays a part in so much stupid right now. And they all answer questions without answering them by the way they answer them. And it's disgusting, but sadly, the world we live in, and it's the world we live in because people keep letting them get away with it. All too often they get away with it, which just keeps us in this rut and this black hole and this whatever you want to call it. It's not the greatest thing, but I mean, hopefully everything can get turned around before it's way too late. I mean, I think we're on the cusp of it. It's so bad now. People just let people get away with giving, like, answering questions that way, which tells you everything you need to know, but they just right over their head and they let them keep going. It's just tearing everything apart and it hurts my head immensely. Anyone that knows me, I already have enough migraine problems and all that. I don't need stupid people on top of it. If we could have less stupid people, I'd be in a better mood all the time, but it is what it is. And at least they answered without answering. And the OSHA mandate got shot down. So those are some things to at least come out of it. And the OSHA mandate, that's a great one, because I know a lot of people I know that were worried about it. So it's a good thing to end it on, at least for the week. And with that, you even heard Daisy wanted me to get off. So I'm going to get off of here. Hope you appreciated it. Hope you liked it. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope all those things. Hope you have a good weekend. Follow along on all the platforms. Share it out, because that helps more than anything. It gets more eyes and ears on all you people, Frank, Brian, like all you people that have been extra. Like I've seen Larry, JD, like I appreciate all you, but keep, all of you, share out the audio, get it out to more people. Let me know what you think. And if you ever want to come on and talk, let me know, because I'm always willing to talk to someone, as long as you have a brain and the ability to think. That's all I ask of you. But yeah, enjoy your weekends, though. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to share it out. I appreciate y'all. Don't forget Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble for the videos. Well, and I guess Getter, Cloud Hub, and Write Only. I'm on all those. And then Anchor Breaker, Stitcher, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Overcast, Amazon Podcasts, Audible, and most importantly, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. Check it out on all of those. Follow along. They go on there every Tuesday and Friday. I'm going to go see what my dog's losing her mouth, what her mind about, and run her suck for. So thanks for watching. Share it out. Enjoy your weekend. I'll be back on Tuesday. Peace.